round out the show with a couple of smaller players now, a couple of guards. And let's go to Kansas. We talked about his teammate already in Ochai Agbaji. We're going to go with Christian Braun, 6'7", 21-year-old guard who played 34 minutes a night. He averaged 14 points, shot 39% from three. Decent volume there. 3 assists a game, a steal a game. Like just sort of solid enough numbers that if it works out, the size profile is there. 6'7" wing, which is what the NBA wants. Now, unfortunately, he's got a negative wingspan, which is always going to be something that has an issue with NBA teams, and a pretty low-ish steal rate. But Braun, to me, just feels like one of those guys that you take end of the first, early second in that range, a few years ago where Dylan Brooks was taking. You just take flyers on these guards, wings, who can hit some threes maybe and handle the ball a little bit, because if it works out, it can be really valuable.
Exactly, yeah. And Brown, I actually think it's pronounced Brown, even though like everything in your brain is telling you to say Braun. I've made this mistake, so don't sweat.
That's
it's a similar pitch to Presida, a similar pitch where it's shooting and defense. Now, I have Presida above Brown because he has a higher release. He has pure mechanics. And though Brown's three goes in and he has a history of shooting it pretty well, his release is low and he has displayed sometimes a hesitance to let it go. In fact, I think in the Final Four game against Villanova, there was down the stretch, there were like 3 or 4 possessions where he would just not pull the trigger. And then he had to at the end of the shot clock. And then he hit it. And then he started talking shit to everyone because that's what, part of his MO is. One thing that's very underrated about Christian is how good a passer he is, especially attacking closeouts. Among all of these little wings, and this draft has a million wing bets to make, there are not 3 that are better at really passing on the move than Christian Braun. So I think if he's going to stick, that would be a part of his game that I feel like really shines in the NBA, especially in the right offense.
He's interesting, and you're right. There's just so many of these guys. Even basically like pick 10 or 11 onwards. It's just guards and wings and guards, which is valuable in the NBA. But how to differentiate them is really tough. And